Welcome to Quilting on the Side, the podcast where we uncover the secrets to turning your passion for quilting into a profitable side hustle.
I'm Tori from the Quilt Patch by Tori.
And I'm Andi from True Blue Quilts. And together, we're your co-hosts on this exciting journey of creativity, entrepreneurship, and all things quilting.
We're here to help you navigate the world of quilt pattern design, course creation, digital marketing, and running an online quilt business. We've been through the ups and downs ourselves, so we know what it takes to make money from your favorite hobby.
That's right, Tori. We're going to share our experiences on how we've grown our businesses while balancing family with other paying work responsibilities. It's not always easy, but it's definitely possible. Welcome. We're so glad you joined us for this episode of Quilting on the Side. But before we get to our new guest, I want to encourage you to start using EQ8 as your design software. This is a great partner for anyone diving into the quilt design business. And I'll tell you a little bit more after we talk to Devan. Our guest today is Devan Robinson from Developing with Devan. We met her as a guest speaker at our virtual retreat in 2024, and it's just been wonderful to get to know her. So Devan, tell us about your business.
Well, first, thank you for having me. So exciting. And so a little bit about me. I'm a multi-passionate entrepreneur, so I have a lot of things that I do, but I started out my business as a life coach. I don't really do that specific side fully anymore. It kind of took off from there into more of a marketing strategy and done for you services in the marketing world, because all my life coaching clients ended up being female entrepreneurs who needed my help with more than just mindset stuff. And so it's cool because now I tie it all together, and it all kind of started when, should I go ahead and go all the way into this life story? It's a lot.
Yes, that's what we do here.
All right. So I'm going to go into the whole spiel. It's not even a spiel necessarily. It's like, I've been asked this question so many times, so I have an answer. So the question is always like, why do you care? Why do you have this business? Why does it matter? And my answer is always, it's all these little small moments that added up to get me to where I'm at, not just for me personally, but for the other women around me. So all these small moments added up. There was a woman who was the secretary at the job that I was at, and she always seemed to just get small when someone was either complimenting her or helping her move forward or giving her some possibility to push her career. She got small, she closed down, and I was like, what in the heck is happening here? And then I saw it again when I was dabbling in photography, and this woman who I was taking pictures of, she was just belittling herself. Her husband belittled her, called her pizza face. Like, who does that as a grown person? And I was like, is this real? Is this real life? And it is, and it's common. And so these moments just added up, and I was like, this is what I care about. What I care about is that we as a whole need to grow. And when one of us grows, all of us grow. And that can be simple mindset stuff, life coaching stuff, but it really becomes powerful when you help another business get their voice out there. When you help another woman tell her story, when you help another woman help other women. Like, that is, for me, just so powerful. And that looks so different, which is good for me as an ADHD entrepreneur. I can kind of customize to what my clients need and all that stuff. So it's been a really big learning journey for me. And because I'm one of those people who's like, I can figure that out. I can do that. Yeah. Yes, I can take a course and I can go on YouTube and I can just click some buttons. I'll figure it out. And so I've been able to figure it out for a lot of things, and just pulling all of that in. I've made the most money this past year than I did in my 4 years in business, because I really just leaned in to what my heart was calling, what my strategy mind was seeing. And I just filled these holes and helped these women just grow their own businesses and their voices. That's kind of why I care, why I'm doing what I'm doing. So
Well, speaking of growing businesses and voices, Devan, if you haven't realized yet, is our podcast editor. We kind of skipped over that, but I just wanted to point out that. So if you have been a guest, you've heard us say, Devan. This is our wonderful Devan, our podcast editor.
Thank you. Yes. So you guys were my first official podcast clients. And when you guys said yes, and I went into that, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so fun. Because I was doing it for myself, right? And I started leaning in. And Tori, I think I saw you post about needing someone, and it kind of just worked out. All the stars aligned. And now I think I've helped 10 different podcasts get all their stuff going. I've helped launch a couple for people because sometimes they don't need me per episode. They just want me to help them get it off the ground. And I just did my first free workshop back in November called So You Want to Start a Podcast. And I kind of went through everything for people to help with that. And I got 3 podcast clients from it. So that was cool.
Yay. We
Yeah,
love
it was
that.
exciting. Yeah, it was exciting, and it's really cool to see what people want to put out in the world. But, we've had these conversations before. The podcast it's wonderful to do, but it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of funds. It takes a lot of effort. And that's one of the things that I talk about with my other clients who are just starting out is we have to have a strategy in place around it. Are you using it as a business tool? Are you using it as a hobby? Are you using it for a funnel? Like, what are you using it for? And that's really the whole thing with any marketing pieces, right? So that's one of the conversations I like to have with people. It's why all my packages are customized, because everyone's burnout levels are different. Everyone's overwhelm is different. Everyone's skill sets are different.
Having the background with mindset and life coaching and working with so many entrepreneurs, do you ever see them overlap? Do you ever find yourself like approaching them and helping them with their mindset to help get these projects going and things like that?
All the time. Literally, they are intertwined. If you as a person are showing up authentically and unapologetically and in a sense, just vulnerably to the world, then you're going to thrive, and so's your business. When you step in and lean into who you are as a person and don't pretend to be who you're not, you're going to thrive. Your business is going to move forward, and that is interconnected.
Yeah, that's been a message I'm getting from the universe from several different sources, just literally like 3 different people today, just today, is like you need to figure out that well that you have within you that's motivating you. If you're fighting kind of that idea of going against your true nature, it's an uphill battle. And when you get in that flow, things are just easier. It's not that life is ever easy, but you have a little more energy and things happen a little easier along the way when you're in that good spot. So yeah. That's great that you have. So tell us all about these different facets of your business, the different resources people can get help with, because you've mentioned a podcast, you've mentioned some kind of virtual assistant type marketing help. What else is there?
So I have a lot of things. But before that, I wanted to say something to what you just said. So there's 3 questions that I like to ask myself. And if I can answer, I know I'm in the right zone. Who am I? What do I want? And what's stopping me? And if I can answer those 3 questions, then that really can help me move forward. Because if who I am is not aligned with what I'm doing and the things that are in my way, hint, usually yourself is in the way, then you know what your next steps are. And what also helps me with that alignment piece is knowing your core values, which are not set in stone, which I think is something that a lot of people are like, well, I did my core values 10 years ago at a business retreat, so I know what my core values are. No, you don't. Try again, okay? See what they really truly are. Make sure they align with you, because that's how you set boundaries. If you are saying yes to every freaking thing in your life, then you're going to get burnt out. You're going to get overwhelmed. You're going to end up, stuck in all this that I don't even know how to describe it, but you can feel it, right? But if you know what your core values are, then you can ask yourself, well, should I say yes to this? If I say yes, does it match my core value of freedom? Does it match my core value of relationship building? If yes, then do it. If no, then cut that out. If it's not a full body yes, like bye-bye. That's no. Thank you.
Oh, I
So
love that.
anyway,
Yes.
yes, full body yes. That is how you know you're on the right track. You can feel it in your body. That's, your subconscious like working with you. If you feel tight about something, ask yourself, is it fear or is it really a no? Like there's a difference, right? If you're just afraid that you can't do it, that's different than I don't want to do it, right? So kind of listen to your body, listen to your gut. The reason women carry that extra weight, we think it's for babies, right? It's for incubation. No, it's because we have a gut instinct. That's what it is, right? It's our gut. Listen to your gut. It's there for a reason. Boom. Yes. Okay. Now, your question about my offers. So many things. But what it comes down to is I can help with social media marketing. So I have a lot of done for you services and done with you services. Done with you would be kind of a mix of I do some of it and I help guide you and you do the rest. So like I have some clients who I write their content calendars for them, and that helps them get out of that strategy mindset so they can do the creative stuff, right? So if I tell them, hey, this is what you could probably do this week, and I give them 20 options, they only need to pick 5. They can feel that creativity so they can actually get those posts out instead of feeling stuck in all different hats, because that's one of the issues, right? So I have clients for content calendars. I have clients for accountability type stuff, like we together come up with your marketing strategy, and then you just kind of keep me on retainer to like check in with you every week or write some captions for you, or just like the things that you might need to keep you on track. So there's that kind of stuff. Some people, you'll see that they want a virtual assistant, and there's a difference between me and a virtual assistant, because the virtual assistant, you still have to tell them what to do. You have to guide them generally. They're specialists in that field, and I think when people call themselves virtual assistants but they do more like what I do, then they're not actually virtual assistants, right? They're actually specialists or strategists or coordinators. But I would consider myself a coordinator, a marketing coordinator, a marketing strategist around that. And then I have actually built a little bit of a team to help me with some of this stuff. So I do have a virtual assistant, and I'm in the process of onboarding a creative operations assistant and an intern. I'm growing, and I'm networking, and I'm talking to people, and it really reminds me that I definitely am in the right space for the marketing stuff, for sure. So yeah, so then I have the podcasts. I help with video editing, YouTube's courses. I can help you develop your funnel, email marketing. I have one client who's full package. Everything that they need, I do. They text me and they're like, hey, I need this on my menu. And I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. I'll do it. So there's some people who marketing just overwhelms them so much that they just need someone to do everything for them. And I'm okay with that, because it keeps my day creative and interesting, and nothing's ever the same, ever. So, and I don't like things to be the same. I love change. So that's me.
Well, if you don't mind me asking, I'm really curious, which avenue has been the most profitable for you? Has it been the more of the side of the virtual assisting? Has it been more the side of the podcasting? Because I know they kind of overlap, it sounds like.
That's a hard question to answer because I feel like it's all so intertwined. I have, at this current time, I think I have 15 active clients, and they all have different needs. Some people is just a content calendar. Sometimes some of it's Pinterest management. Some of it's graphic creation, caption writing. Like it's so many things.
I could definitely see why you're building a team.
Yeah, it's hard. And my husband's deployed right now. So I've been doing single mom life with 3 kids for the last 8 months and building this business. And it's been crazy. It's been crazy. But I would also be remiss if I didn't mention that I also run a women's summit that's in person in the fall. It will be in October. So if you're listening, you should get on my email list, because then I'll give you the dates, because right now I don't have a date because Syracuse, New York really loves their football, and none of the hotels will bid on my retreat until the football schedule is out. And that came out yesterday. We should have a date within the next few weeks, but it will be in October, and it's in Syracuse, New York, and there's an airport there. So this will be my 5th year doing that. So that's exciting. And
The theme or the focus of your retreat?
so my summit is different than any other conference that I've ever been to. And I've been to a decent amount. So I kind of mix slumber party vibes with conference vibes. So I really love it when people stay in the hotel overnight, because the best conversations happen at 9 o'clock at night when you're like trying to leave the ballroom to go to your room, but you're not because you're talking and you can't stop, and it's the best. Or you go to each other's rooms afterwards and like 4 or 5 of you are drinking a glass of wine and you're just talking about everything. You come up with the best ideas. I have my most productive month the month after the summit, because everything is flowing. So it's a mix of personal development, professional development. I have a bunch of speakers come in, subject matter experts from all over, some from Chicago, some from Washington, D.C. I have a few I even had someone come from California. Like it's growing, but I'm going to cap it at a smaller amount. I don't want really any more than 100 people, because I want to keep us like an intimate group. Last year I had around 70. And that was a good number. It was really a good number. And this year's theme, I haven't fully figured it out, because I was waiting until I knew the day. But last year's theme was self-love, and really leaning into that, and congruence, and how to prioritize yourself in a world where society tells you not to as a woman, when society's expectations are to have even more expectations for yourself, because they give you imposter syndrome, which imposter syndrome is a load of bullcrap. And it is just the patriarchy's way of telling you that you don't belong at this table and you don't deserve that. But that's because the tables weren't built for us. It's a systemic problem. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox on that one. But I talked about I was the keynote and the Friday night speaker, but I also brought in someone talking about pelvic floor health, because no one talks about that. But everybody has a pelvic floor. So that's strange. And I had someone come in to do some meditation. I had someone come in to do dance floor church, is what she calls it. And it was like this just crazy. We just danced in a circle, and like just you had to get out of your shell, and it was so fun. So I have some like that personal development stuff, a little bit of woo-woo, but then I also had someone come in who's a CEO of like a 6, 7, I don't know, figure business, who was talking about where she started to where she is now. She was a tech startup. I had someone come in and talk about finances. So all the things that women might have or need in their lives, I'm trying to fill that with a resource of some sort. And of course, we just have fun and get to know each other. And, it's a weekend where it starts Friday night and ends Sunday afternoon. So you can go back to work and you don't even have to worry about taking time off, because I know that's a problem. So it's great. You should come. Everybody should come. I'll see you all there.
It sounds fabulous.
It does. I'd like to take a step back to those challenges. That's actually a question I had for you, was overcoming challenges. So many quilters face, well, as any entrepreneurs, we face setbacks when we launch something, it doesn't go well. When we open up a class, nobody signs up. So do you have any advice for moving past when we hit those challenges, those really low points in entrepreneurship? And do you have any words of wisdom or advice to help us keep going?
That's a really good question. I have a lot of thoughts. First of all, I have had so many workshops that no one signed up for. The launch was horrible. Like, it happens all the time. I seem super successful, whatever. That's what people tell me anyway. I'm not. I'm just a normal successful. It's fine. And so that's going to happen. And what I call that is crickets, right? When you have crickets, that's really just a learning situation. If no one is saying anything, then why are they not saying anything? Is it because it was the wrong time? Is it because your email list has gone cold? Is it because you need to come up with a new freebie? Is it because whatever, look at the data, see if there's any type of common things, and do some research, and then just keep going. I mean, it's just a learning curve. So that is the thing that I think about, is those crickets are for learning. And then for me, because what happens, so I talk about self-doubt a lot. And I think that the problem that I was having probably 6 or so years ago, I was in the quarter life-ish crisis where I was like, who am I? What the heck am I doing? And what am I? Why am I here? I don't understand. And I was alone and my husband was deployed. And I was just like, life. And so for me, what I had to develop and what I had to realize was that my worth on this planet isn't tied to anything. I'm worthy just for being here. I'm inherently worthy. And that is something that once you can really believe that, once you can really step into that, it's okay if I mess up. It's okay if nobody buys anything from me. It's okay if I have a bad idea or I say something stupid. It's totally okay because I'm worthy of existing, because I'm worthy and living on that plane of existence. And that really helps me move forward a little quicker through those times of self-doubt, through those times of questioning who I am and am I even on the right path? And there was two main things that really helped me with developing that worth. Three, actually. So one is I stopped talking crap about myself. I would catch myself in the mirror saying like, oh, I'd be cuter if I lost 5 pounds, or, oh, this pimple, everyone sees it, or my hair is a mess. Or I would stop apologizing when people came over for, oh, my house is a mess, so sorry about that. Like, that's the second thing. The first thing was to stop talking crap about myself. The second thing was stop apologizing. I don't say sorry anymore. I don't say sorry. I only say it when I truly mean it. Like if I hurt somebody, if I really messed up, right? Like I'm very specific with my sorries. I don't say sorry when I bump into someone. I say, excuse me. This happens all the time. If a woman and I are like trying to go to the bathroom, get in the bathroom at the same time, like she's opening the door and I'm leaving, and then we're like, that situation, right? Usually we say sorry, sorry, sorry. I don't say that anymore. No, never. No sorries allowed. Sorry is not okay. We're done. We're done with it. No sorries, no justs, no nothing. That's it. So those are the two big things.
I hear, so what I heard from that was, and just to kind of reiterate, was get down into your numbers, look at your data. I think that's a really strong anchor for a lot of us. It can be to lean on the numbers rather than our feeling. And I love what you said about the sorry. I had a really bad habit of doing the same thing. And I realized one day that I was done saying sorry as well. I still do it every once in a while. But excuse me is, yeah, I like that. It puts I think, maybe this isn't the correct way to say, but the power back in yourself to say
100%.
Yeah, instead of I'm sorry.
Yeah. So that's funny that you say the power, because that's what I say to everyone is we're taking the power back. We're taking the power back from the words other people. You know what I said about imposter syndrome. We're taking our power back from the world, the expectations, everything that other people have taught us, because we were a blank slate when we were born. I mean, if you're really into the woo-woo and the generational trauma, like there's that too. But as a whole, we were mostly a blank slate when we were born, right? So everything that we do is from something that we've learned, whether that was from a TV show or a book or our parents or a stranger, right? There's so many things that taught us to be who we are today. And so we're taking that power back from society, from words. That's why I don't care what people call me. My son decided to tell me that his friend called me fat. And I was like, I don't care, buddy. Like, thank you for telling me, I guess. But like, I don't particularly care if an 8-year-old thinks I'm fat. Like, that's just not a thing that I'm going to worry about. But I know that does bother some people. Right. And even him, he's picked up this like thing where he says he's fat. And I'm like, bro, you are not even close, first of all. Second of all, who cares? We don't comment on other people's bodies. We don't comment on what someone looks like. So the next time someone says that to you, you say first, are you okay? And then second, you say, we don't comment on other people's bodies. And then you just move on. Like, bye-bye. Like, so we're taking our power back emotionally, mentally, and verbally. Yeah, love that.
That leads me to thinking about how powerful and passionate entrepreneurs are. Because we know so many quilters and so many entrepreneurs in the crafting world that care so much. And I feel like as entrepreneurs, we're always trying to solve a problem. And if we can't do that, it's like it's a heavy weight. And it's hard not to take that personally. And I think that just starting those little ways, not talking crap about yourself, not saying sorry, can really help build up the resilience to when those tougher times come.
Yeah. It is. It's being able to validate yourself is super important. So when you can't solve someone's problem, when you don't have a solution for someone, you still can validate, like, you tried your best. Maybe now you can go to YouTube and learn how to do it. This is a learning curve, whatever you need to, but validating yourself is super important as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm connecting with in this conversation about not following the rules and, being able to let go of those things that are just some silly tradition that, may have applied in generations past, but are not helpful to us in today's world. So we need to let them go. And thinking of all the stories of quilters who, their first pattern was like the New York Beauty, which is a very curvy, pointy, it's got a lot of heavy technique in it. And they did that as their first pattern because no one told them that it was hard. So we have to approach things sometimes with that beginner, fresh look that, if nobody told me this was hard, I would be able to do it. So why am I creating these obstacles for myself? I can just figure it out. I can do it. We're all capable. So I love that you have such a message of empowerment for women, specifically for people. So.
Oh, you know what that makes me think of? There was a phrase that I came across, and I need to write down who says these things and stick in my brain. I can't remember who said it, but they said, we're no longer saying failure, we're saying lessons. And I think that can be really powerful. Yeah. And that's exactly what we talked about.
Yeah, they are. That's what they are. They're just lessons. Lessons, because I've learned a lot of lessons. Mm-hmm. So
me too.
That is what I do. And I think because I listen to all of your podcasts, the first episode you had this season, I think you talked about it, where you were talking about, and maybe I'm putting some of my own words into it, but where you talked about looking at what went well, what were the highlights, what were the lowlights of the year, and what lessons and patterns did you learn from those? And that's what I tell people all the time. So that's why I think it kind of stuck into my I was literally, at the same time I was editing your podcast for that one, I was doing those same things for myself and for my vision of the year. So it goes back to that, right? We're not looking at it as failures, but patterns to learn from. Patterns that all of you guys are dealing with anyway, because you're quilters. So I'm just saying.
That's true.
And from another life coach I know, our catchphrase is always data over drama. I think Tori's heard that before too, that, anytime you're analyzing a situation, if you can get down to those core numbers or the data, just the basic facts of the situation, eliminate all the emotion out of it, then you can move on. So
right.
Great tips.
That's something that, and that helps with the, what I was saying earlier about being able to stop talking crap about yourself. It goes to, like, what are the things that you're saying about yourself? Look at it from a scientific point of view. What are you saying to yourself? Is that actually true? What's making you believe that? And then look at the data around it. Look at it as a science experiment. It's not that serious. There's no fires burning unless you're a fire person. Then, okay. What is a firefighter? I was like, fire person. I was trying to be gender neutral. Firefighter. Unless you're a fire person. What is this? Like, from the elementals? Like, what are we doing here?
The podcast episode we had about get your head in the game. We talked about one of the biggest mindset shifts you need to have as an entrepreneur is to be a scientist and be always experimenting. But I love how you kind of turn that and also look at yourself and use that for yourself, because when we grow, our business grows. And I love that data over drama. I literally wrote it down. Wait, sorry, data, not drama. So,
yeah. Well, it's the same concept. Data over drama, data, not drama. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. Well, I wish we could just go on. We'd probably solve all the problems in the world if we could just spend a few more hours here together talking with these lovely, smart women. But we do like to wrap up with our rapid fire questions. And before that, I promised I would tell you more about EQ8. This software is wonderful for quilters of all levels. If you are a beginner, you can get fabulous ideas from their block library. If you're more advanced and ready to design your own patterns, you can create brand new blocks with this software, and you can actually import fabric swatches and see how your designs will look with the actual fabric you want to use. So if you haven't already, go ahead, use our link, download EQ8, and get started in the exciting world of quilt design. But we want Devan to answer some rapid fire questions. And we did specify she's been talking a lot about being in business that is not specifically craft related. So this might be a challenge. But Devan, you have quilted before.
A little bit. It's been quite a few years. But yes, a little bit.
So if you were to create a quilt or do some other crafty endeavor, what colors do you stay away from?
That's a good question. See, and I want to answer it with like the colors that I would go into.
Right.
I would use pinks and purples. I'd probably stay away from browns and tans. That kind of, I love earthy tones in clothes, but not in my space. So I imagine if I'm going to make a quilt, I'm going to make a quilt for my bed in my bedroom, and it's probably not going to be browns. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
That lines up with some quilters that we've interviewed. That's great.
I know.
Yeah, brown isn't unfortunately at the top of a lot of quilters' fabric choices, but
so normally we ask yardage or pre-cuts, but I was just curious, and I'm going to kind of change that since you don't really have fabric that you're using right now. Do you have a favorite tool that you use, like on a day-to-day basis?
Like a physical tool?
Yeah.
My water bottle?
it's so important to stay hydrated. Yes, we need that.
My cell phone? Scissors.
Okay, so let's cross over to your business as a marketing consultant. What's your favorite app or tool to use for content creation?
So I use Canva mostly. I actually have a minor in graphic design, so I do know how to use Adobe stuff, but Canva really is just so convenient for everything. I also like Procreate on your iPad, but I don't think a lot of people really want my drawings as their content on their graphic design, so I don't really do a lot of that for my clients, but I've made some little artsy stuff that I printed out and framed. So yeah.
Fun.
So what is the most rewarding part of your business?
The most rewarding part of my business is when I get text messages from my clients who say, "Oh, I got a new client. Oh, I got a new member. I got a new comment or testimonial because of this," or "Everyone loves your graphics." I'm like, yes, those are great. Thank you for I can validate myself, but I really do love it when other people validate me too. So that would be probably the most rewarding, is just when I know that they're succeeding because we've worked together.
Yeah, seeing student success, I think, for any of us that have done any type of teaching is definitely a big reward. Following that, who or what is inspiring you on your journey these days?
So the person who's inspiring me the most, I just bought like all their recent courses literally today, is Sam Garcia. And she talks about regenerative business and developing your ecosystem. And if you guys have not read her, if you have a business that's more than a side hustle, even if it's a side hustle, honestly, just knowing her, the way she talks about regenerative business, and it's based around regenerative agriculture and how you create your ecosystem. And you imagine, like, if your house is filled with houseplants and you leave for 2 weeks, they're probably going to like wilt, and some of them are going to die. But creating an ecosystem that you can leave, like the rainforest, where if you left the rainforest for 2 weeks, the rainforest is going to keep doing its rainforest thing. So building a business around that. And I think you guys talk about this a lot without actually calling it regenerative business, because you say, going and doing your Pinterest stuff and having your funnel and having your email list, and all those pieces help you develop your different levels of your ecosystem, because you have your house, and then you have like your barbecue, and then you have like your garden, and then you have the streets on the outside and the orchard, And there are people living in all of those pieces of your ecosystem. So having those, read her book, buy her courses. She actually just told me she'd do an interview on my podcast. So, I have a podcast too. So Two Besties with a Mic, and that will be coming out whenever. She lives in Maui. She lives off the grid. So she's going to do whatever she wants. So it'll come out sometime in the future. But she's a wonderful person, and she's a Virgo like me and does marketing strategy just like me too. So we're like soul sisters. I can't wait to talk to her.
Very cool.
I met her in person.
Excited to check out her stuff.
You can tell it's inspiring you. You lit up while you're talking about it.
I know. I have to send her this. Be like, Sam, I talked about you. I met her in Las Vegas this summer when I went for a 3-day marketing conference, and I just fell in love with her. So there's that.
Now, before we say goodbye, tell everybody where they can find you, Devan.
Sure. So I have Instagram at Developing with Devan, and Devan is spelled Devan, because I know that's going to be a problem. It's been a problem my whole life. It's fine. Thank you, Mom. Instagram is kind of where I hang out, but I'm actually going to lean into YouTube. So it's also there on YouTube, Developing with Devan. It's either Developing with Devan or Self-Doubt Exorcist, because that's what I call myself. So there's the two ways. I'm really going to lean into YouTube this year, because I feel like that's where it's at right now. Yeah. So, and you can go to my website, developingwithdevan.com. You can join my email list. I have a bunch of freebies on there. Just grab all my stuff. Stalk me. I want you to.
Don't you have a book?
Oh, I have a book too. Yeah, I forgot about that. What's Your Worth? And I don't mean money. Don't mean money. Not I don't need money, because we do need money. It's helpful.
All the money can flow.
Yes. Flow to me. Money flows easily to me. Yes. Mm-hmm. So What's Your Worth? And it's on Amazon. And it's actually that starting journey of where I was when I was trying to figure out my worth and just know inherently that I'm worthy. Wonderful starting point. I actually am so excited that you reminded me about that, Tori, because I just had someone 2 months ago email me and was like, I got your book for free at a conference. Absolutely love it. It's amazing. Can I have all your other freebies? And I was like, yes. And then she appeared at a conference local to me and talked about my book at this conference that my friend was at, who my friend then texted me and said, this person just quoted your book. And I was like, what? Are you sure? Are you sure it was my book? It was. And it was the woman who had emailed me and was like, I need all your stuff. I love you. And I'm like, yes, I love you too.
That is awesome.
So yes, I do.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing so openly about your journey and teaching us stuff. And it's been wonderful to talk to you on this side of the microphone.
To record our conversations.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me. It was so fun.
So if you enjoyed our episode tonight, you can get more from us, more content on our Patreon, which is less than a Starbucks, $5 to start, and $15 is our highest tier. And we would absolutely love to see you over there, where we can provide more content for you, answer your questions, and provide a wonderful space for you to learn about the quilting business. Another fabulous conversation with a female entrepreneur. Having Devan here was so interesting. What was your biggest takeaway, Tori? I loved hearing everything that Devan's got going on and how she's making it work for her. So having, she found an umbrella that she could put a multifaceted business under, and she leaned into what people were asking for her to do and what she enjoyed at the same time. So I really like that. I think we can take that into the quilting world and find an umbrella that we love to be under, that also fuels our interest and is what people are looking for and asking us to do. So I think that was probably my biggest takeaway. What was yours? Yeah, I love all her mindset work and how she boiled it down to the importance of self-talk. And, the messages we get from the world, we obviously have to filter, and then we have to be really careful with what we say to ourselves, about our situation. And that played out in a couple different ways. The way she was really talking about, the things she says about herself, and also how you respond to that information we always get about our businesses, launching to crickets, that idea that it can, really take you down, but
as long as you are, grounded in that idea of we are all worthy just by the fact that we are human beings, we have worth. It doesn't come from how many patterns we sell or whatever offer we're making. So that was a really good message. And I thank her for sharing that. So folks, you know what to do at the end of an episode. Like, share, drop us a line, and let us know what else you want to hear from us. We are here to support you as you do a little quilting on the side. What a great discussion. If you enjoyed this episode of Quilting on the Side, please leave us a review on whichever platform you're listening. It can be iTunes, Spotify, or even our YouTube channel.
And hit the subscribe button so you don't miss our next chat. Until then, remember to have fun in your business and do a little quilting on the side.